welcome back, guys. This is the GoatCast Season 4, and this is a extra episode, I guess you could say. I said earlier in the week that I would do a complete Season 3 review of The Mandalorian Season 3. This concluded after today, so if you have Disney Plus and want to check out the last chapter, I would do so. Now, this is going to have spoilers, so if you have not seen the final episode, see it and then come back to this and see if your thoughts line up with mine as far as the season as a whole. Quick shout out to all the subscribers. Thank you, up to 97. So the road to 100 is getting closer. A lot of basketball action going on. Great game last night, Phoenix and the Clippers. So if you're a sports fan, I know I do heavy sports, but I also do other entertainment such as movies, shows like this, anime, manga. So I kind of try to do a variety of things, just most of my interests. So yeah, let's jump right into season 3. And I will say it ended with a bang. Chapter 24, called The Return. It left off, but it started right where episode 7 left off. So it was them on Mandalore fighting the remnants of this new Empire army that Moff Gideon had assembled, and of course they captured. Moff Gideon wanted Mando captured, and then so we start off with that big old, firefight, and it goes on to then Mando getting out, finding clones of Moff Gideon where he was preparing an army of clones that had the Force. So I guess that's why he wanted Baby Yoda, Grogu, so bad, was to kind of, I guess, infuse his clones with Force powers. I guess midichlorians. And they're taking it back to the prequels, but so he didn't succeed at that. So basically, long story short, the heroes win. We have a big saber fight between Bo-Katan and Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon actually destroys the dark saber. So the dark saber will not be a part of the Mandalorian's lore going forward. And we have Grogu fighting Praetorian guards, who we saw in the sequel trilogy, the Red Guards with the vibro saber staff things. So kind of corny scene to me, but Grogu was able to escape them, and then Mando saved him and helped Bo-Katan. A ship flew into the base, destroying the base. Grogu was able to put a shield over them, force shield. Excuse me, a force shield over them, and they survive. Heroes win. Bo-Katan becomes the new leader of the Mandalorians, or Mandalore. So they have taken back Mandalore completely. Mando goes to a rebel base and asks that rebel, I can't remember his name, the X-Wing guy who found out that Moff Gideon had escaped. He talked to him about working with the Republic, the New Republic, under the table, kind of just doing bounties for them. And then he went back to Navarro. Grief Cargo gave him his own place and welcomed back to their planet. And so that's how we ended off with Mando sitting on his new home's porch with Grogu out in their yard, force lifting frogs. And not to mention, I forgot to say, he also officially adopted Grogu as his son. So now they're father and son. So that was chapter 24, The Return, and that capped off this season. So my thoughts for the entire season is there were so many pieces they could have moved around to make this. And if we use every episode, it would still not be it would still be below season 2 and 1, but I feel like I would it would have it would have been a little more enjoyable and not as head scratching as it was. I think what they did was they took the bad elements of what they did with Kenobi and Boba Fett, which was try to bring other characters to the forefront and spend time on those. But as I've said before, if you have an 8 episode show season and people are tuning in to see whoever, they're tuning in to see Boba Fett, they're tuning in to see Obi-Wan, and now that Mando, Din Djarin, whatever you want to call him, he's become somewhat an iconic Star Wars character now. So we're tuning in to see him. Everybody loved when he showed up in Boba Fett because they have made Boba Fett so boring. But when you take him, put him off into the side as like he's a side character and focus on one of the other characters just to get their story told, which is fine. But you probably want to double up the season episodes if you want, or make them twice as long, so you can get time to spend with the main character. And that's the problem I had with this season is we didn't spend as much time with Mando as we did with Bo-Katan and just those Empire people and Moff Gideon was. And they did the exact same thing they did with Boba Fett. They introduced. We knew it was going to be Moff Gideon, but they introduced him back into the series in the last 2 episodes. So they have to speed through his storyline, and I think that hurts the show because it just feels like we spent all that time for this when he could have been sprinkled into several of those episodes. But yeah, I feel like episodes 1 and 2 could have been combined. 3 could have been shortened and added more Mando. 4 was the what was 4? I can't even remember 4. I think 4 was when they rescued those that big bird thing on Mandalore, and that one could have been completely taken out. 5. I can't even remember 5, but 6 was the Jack Black and Lizzo stuff. 7, of course, was them getting back to Mandalore, and being confronted by Moff Gideon. So, 5 was the when they fought the pirates. So, yeah, I mean, solid action, but I don't know if it was necessary for the season. So I could say I was severely disappointed with this season. I thought that Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, they kind of winged it this time, and they tried to throw some different elements in. They tried to do an Andor style episode. They tried to go back to some of the Western stuff. They tried to incorporate more of the Mandalorians into the story. And they tried to add little, mini episodes with star cameos and they also tried to throw in, characters and elements of the past Star Wars nostalgia stuff with the droids and now future stuff with the Praetorian Guards. They tried to throw in I can't remember his name from I believe it was from Rebels. He was in one of the episodes with the Rebel Squad member. So they're trying to do several things, and that's what they did in season 2 also. But I thought it better fit the plot of what they were doing. It better fit the the movement that where they're going. It fit into the chronological events for, say, them trying to find the Jedi for Grogu. So they encounter Ahsoka, and things go back and forth from there. So that made sense to me. But I don't know. How about you guys? Did you enjoy season 3? I will say the last 2 episodes were good. But I think episode 5 with the pirates. I mean, it's cool. They had cool visuals. That's the one thing they have where I didn't think Boba Fett had the best set pieces because it's on Tatooine and we've been on Tatooine a million times. So some of it felt, just mundane. Obi-Wan, I don't know. I don't give me on Obi-Wan Day. I don't want a season 2. So from what I've been reading and hearing, this was said to be the lowest viewed season so far of The Mandalorian, and I think when you take your main character and push him to the side, especially someone that everybody loves, it's going to hurt because you don't want to see. I mean, I like Bo-Katan, but I don't want to see her as the main character every episode. I don't want to see Mando doing stupid stuff and her having to save him every episode. That's what happened with Boba Fett and can't remember her name, but his apprentice, the girl that got put back together, the sniper girl. She was basically handling everything, and Boba Fett looked, inefficient. So we don't want to see that with characters that are so iconic right now that, I mean, we aren't far removed from seeing Mando slice somebody in half, with the dark saber. So, having him so inept in some of these episodes was just, it just made you not want to watch anymore because they've gone down that path where they make him a bumbling idiot and, Grogu just the humorous side character. But I think the way they ended it, this could be it. I think there's a season 4, but I'm not 100%. But if there's not, the cool scene of them, him lounging with Grogu, his new adopted son. I can live with that. They finally got. Well, we think they got rid of Moff Gideon. Who knows? He burned. Well, he was engulfed in the flames, but did he, burn to death? We thought that before. So, how many lives does Moff Gideon have? So I guess we'll see going forward. So, not gonna keep you guys too long for this one. Like I said, I would have condensed chapters 1 and 2. I would have either shortened chapter 3 and added more Mando. Chapter 4, I would have completely skipped. I guess the only purpose that served is to kind of create a better relationship between Paz Vizsla and Din Djarin's characters because they helped save his son, but and then we never got any kind of emotional scene or anything from his son after Paz Vizsla died in the last episode. There was no one consoling him or none of that seen in this last episode. You think they would do something to kind of something, but I don't think. That he might have been the youngling that she granted at the end, christened as a Mandalorian, whatever. But they didn't do a good job of, consoling him, I guess, or maybe he just didn't care. So yeah, in 5, I would have. 5 was cool, but I would have had it, been a little bit more explained as to how these events tie into the overall story. 6, I would have done something completely different to get to the result of her getting her crew back. Lizzo, Jack Black are cool people. I love Jack Black in most things, but this was not one of his best. And Christopher Lloyd, that was just a odd adventure side mission that should have been something earlier in the season because with what we got earlier in the season, we were thirsty for some plot progression, and that wasn't the best plot progression. Six, oh no, I just said six. 7 and 8 were fine. Those were probably the best episodes of the season. So all in all, if I want to grade this, I will definitely give it a 6 out of 10. Like I said, it wasn't terrible, but it didn't live up to expectations. And will I go back? Like the finale for season 2 and even season 1 to a certain extent, I went back and watched those several times after watching it the first time. Will I go back to see the chapter 24? I don't know. I mean, it was exciting for what it was, but it was kind of paint by numbers as far as there was really no surprise. The heroes won, which is what you want to happen, but you kind of want some stakes, and it didn't feel like there were many stakes or surprise. Like I thought maybe Grogu exerting his force powers that much to shield them would, maybe send him to a coma or something, have him hurt, but no, he was fine. So anyway, let me know how you guys like this season in the comment sections. If you're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, let me know. And if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. It only helps motivate me and helps to, keep the channel moving. So, with that said, I'll see you guys next Monday for a full episode, and check the shorts out. I usually drop something 2 or 3 times a day. So, thank you guys, and I'll see you Monday.